Hello, guys. On a dark night, right inside the pineapple house, we see Spongebob studying to prepare for his driving test. Nearby, Gary is fast asleep, having stayed up to keep him company. Even after hours of studying, Spongebob struggles with every driving question. He's so sleepy that he starts answering randomly just to get it over with. Eventually, Spongebob completely dozes off, and suddenly his answers on the paper jumble together, forming an image of a fierce Spongebob. Still asleep, he gets bitten on the hand, groaning in pain, which wakes him up. His finger twitches uncontrollably. Moonlight shines through the window, causing Spongebob to fall off his chair when he looks at it. Meanwhile, the drawing begins to evolve into a form resembling a werewolf. The next morning, Spongebob wakes up to find his entire room in chaos. He can't remember anything, while Gary looks terrified, immediately retreating into his shell. Apparently, Gary had a very tense night. Spongebob quickly rushes to boating school because he's already late. In class, Mrs. Puff notices Spongebob isn't in his seat. She assumes he has quit, which makes her quite happy. But moments later, Spongebob arrives and joins the class, forcing Mrs. Puff to reluctantly hand him the test paper. As he works on the questions, moonlight shines on him again, causing one of his arms to sprout claws. Confused, Spongebob quickly hides his transformed arm and discreetly asks Mrs. Puff for permission to go to the restroom. There, he sees the transformation spreading across his body. Slowly, he starts turning into a weresponge under the moonlight. Students in class hear a wolf-like howl, but ignore it. In the bathroom, the now fully transformed weresponge begins wreaking havoc, damaging the school's facilities. He even draws a silly meme of Mrs. Puff on the chalkboard, making the students laugh. Spongebob continues causing trouble by doodling a mustache and drawing a boat, which magically becomes real, allowing him to cause more damage to Mrs. Puff's property. The students flee. His mischief escalates when he tries to attack Mrs. Puff, but she narrowly escapes. The next morning, Spongebob wakes up in the library. Now we understand why Gary was so scared. He had witnessed Spongebob turning into something evil and brutal. Spongebob has no memory of the destruction he caused. After being kicked out, Spongebob changes clothes and asks Gary to take him to work at the Krusty Krab. Hours later at night, he is in the kitchen making Krabby Patties when Squidward approaches him, asking him to cover the cash register on Saturday because he'll be off. Not long after, Patrick arrives, ordering a Krabby Patty because he's starving. But once again, moonlight reflects off a pencil, hitting Spongebob's eyes, and he transforms into his brutal self. He merges with Squidward's sheet of paper, and Patrick, thinking it's a magic trick, is amazed. Squidward shows up looking for his music sheets, asking Patrick about them, but Patrick claims he hasn't seen them. Squidward checks the cash register and finds the order notebook covered in doodles. When he picks it up, he's shocked to see the evil Doodlebob again. Mischievously, Doodlebob draws pranks that result in Squidward getting punched. Spongebob then alters customers' food and drinks so they come to life, frightening them so badly that they flee in terror, except Patrick, who just eats them. Chaos spreads everywhere. Mr. Krabs finally notices the mess and sees that the cash register money has been shredded. He tries to protect the rest of the money, but SpongeBob draws it into living bills that attack him. Mr. Krabs gets slammed repeatedly, and then SpongeBob draws a giant spatula to hit everyone nearby. Out of control, SpongeBob heads into Bikini Bottom to continue his rampage. He even messes with Bubble Bass, who is eating ice cream.
Every fish that passes by becomes a target for his pranks. Mr. Krabs and the terrified townsfolk gather to discuss the attacks. Soon after, SpongeBob, now without pants, walks into the restaurant, unaware that he transforms under the full moon. Mr. Krabs explains the terror to a still confused SpongeBob. Mr. Krabs decides to fight back using a silver eraser and rallies the townspeople, with Mrs. Puff being the most eager to retaliate. SpongeBob asks to join them in fighting the evil Doodlebob. Following the trail of claw marks through the city, they come across a pencil vendor. Unfortunately, the moonlight transforms SpongeBob once again. Bubble Bass is the first to be taken out. No one notices the change until it's too late. SpongeBob returns to normal briefly, but an artist appears, forcing him to transform again. He attacks, destroys, and even sends a rich woman flying using balloons. Then he goes after Squidward and Patrick. But they manage to defeat him. Mr. Krabs steps in with the silver eraser, scaring SpongeBob into fleeing into an alley. Before Mr. Krabs can finish him, the real Doodlebob appears, stopping the attack. Through his wife, who translates, Doodlebob apologizes for cursing SpongeBob, explaining it caused suffering for many. He removes the curse, restoring SpongeBob to normal. The townsfolk rejoice, now free from danger. Mr. Krabs thanks Doodlebob for his help, though he has a small scratch on his arm. A pencil vendor approaches, offering his goods. But as moonlight hits Mr. Krabs' eyes, he transforms, more vicious and brutal than SpongeBob ever was, sending everyone into a panic. And the film ends.